I'm going to give you a short introduction on Sasol and a little bit of background on the company as a whole, and what our current focus is on aging assets and on our asset management journey into the future, and then also where does Salvo fit into this whole process, and the fact that we were lucky enough to be part of the process from the start, and we had a little bit of a head start in implementing some of the methods and the whole approach to the methodology already. So we are lucky in that regard. Right. Sasol as a company started in the 1950s and had one site in Sasolburg in South Africa. And basically in 1975 they decided to expand the company into a larger part where they got to the second site, Secunda, and that's where the name Secunda comes from, meaning second. And then 1975 started building on a clean piece of land like this, and a few years later in the 1980s started up quite a huge facility around petrochemicals, looking petrol, diesel, chemicals over a wide range of products. So this is currently what the facility looks like, 13 square kilometer range of facility with assets running from gasification, coal into liquids, coal into gas, right through to petrochemicals and all the utilities that goes along with that. Just a little bit of what it looks like at night. We think the company looks quite nice at night, much better than during the day. It looks like a huge ship if you see it from afar. So that is quite cool. Right, our approach to asset management currently. We have defined a long-term strategy around asset management to sustain our current asset base and also manage the assets effectively, taking into account our new growth targets and also being able to create cash for the larger part of the company to fund new projects abroad, and as some of you might have heard already, in the US, in Canada, and quite a few other African states as well. So our asset management journey basically currently is focusing on embedding the system or the asset management system by using PAS 55, moving over to ISO 55000 in the near future. And also we've developed a simplified asset management process model to basically disseminate the principles of PAS 55 and ISO 55000 right through from top management down to the shop floor, and making sure everybody understands what this means in their life in day to day. Basically, we've also set up an operations handbook. Operations handbook currently still under development, but looking at the different levels in management and what can you expect from asset management at each level? What should you expect from and what should you ask for when you look at asset management in your part of the business? Then basically our journey will be deemed a success once we gain ISO 55000 accreditation, not meaning the end of the journey, but just one of the many milestones to get to with asset management. Oh, sorry, wrong way around. Right, currently if you look at the facility, and we're only talking about the Secunda facility, the Sasolburg facility excluded, we're looking at approximately 800,000 pieces of equipment, of which 80% of that is more than 30 years old. It is the equipment that we started off with. The other 20% is anything between just under 30 years to very new, meaning, 2 or 3 years old at the moment, due to expansions and additions to the whole facility. So where does Salvo fit into this? Operating strategies, capabilities. Impacts on maintenance strategies, inspection strategies. If you look at the vast amount of equipment, we need currently extensive restoration programs. We need extensive renewal programs due to the fact that some of the equipment is really nearing end of life very fast. So part of the Salvo project that we were lucky to embed up to now is basically taking the methodology and making it the backbone of our current renewal process requirements and making sure that a proper business process has been set up and that the decisions taken is at the right level that needs to be. So basically what we've done is we've taken the Salvo smiley and we've written it back into our own language to make it understandable for everyone in the company. Basically, same thing, just nice in a straight line. Basically, just to give you a little bit of an overview of what we've done already, and saying that we've been fortunate to be part of the project from the start and being able to test the methodology on our own piece of equipment and making sure that it is custom made and fit for all asset purposes, old and new. If we look at one of our case studies that we've done was on control system obsolescence. And I'm sure a lot of you know the control system that we are talking about. And the question was, should we upgrade now? Should we maintain? What should we do with this? Seeing that the equipment is obsolete. And we're looking at that stage when the decision came up at a £50 million investment in changing out the control system to a new system. So what did we do? A whole set of workshops using the Salvo methodology and coming up with a very good strategy on how to handle this. Some of the benefits listed there is saying keep spares for another while. We also gained support by showing the vendors what the impact would be if we change out immediately rather than doing a staged approach over a longer period of time. And also, due to deferment of capital, we saved 60% of the original capital costs with a roadmap to go with that. Another one that we did was on medium voltage motors. We're looking at a total population of just over 800 motors that we did the process on and that we took through the Salvo process. And the benefits on that was on failure replacement for the largest part of the population. And as you can see, a renewal strategy for approximately 306 of the 800 odd motors, which is currently giving us cost saving 20 to 30 million rand a year, which translate roughly to £1.25 to £1.75 million a year saving currently. Okay, so what is our way forward? Currently, we've implemented Salvo as part of our total renewal strategy, part of the business process written up in our procedures and our policies within the company. To be implemented, basically make it an integral part of our asset management system, and also making sure that it doesn't stay a toolkit in people's minds, that it really is a structured approach to tackling the questions that you've got on your assets from start right through to the finish, where you've got a whole portfolio where you can say, I've looked at all the benefits, I've looked at the costs, and I know my risks going forward with my assets. Also, embed the Salvo strategy as a renewal strategy, because it has been set up and we have tested it, and it's currently rolling out slowly throughout the company. And being quite a big operation, it takes a little bit of time. Nothing happens overnight, as you might all know. And then basically we're also starting to use the whole Salvo process for our 10-year asset plans, including the renewals, but also maintenance, inspection type plans that we need to set up. And also continue to use parts of the toolkit for specific case-by-case justification. Because as you know, it can be used as a total process, or for spot checks if you need some specific answers right now on very critical pieces of equipment. So the idea is this is a very, very flexible and usable methodology. Doesn't really matter how you want to use it for your assets. Thank you.